From the Middle is proud to be a founding member of Odd Pods Media. Lappers, Flamingo Fudge. This was a fun episode to record, and we hope that you enjoy listening to it as well. Hey, it's me, Kendall, alongside with Dillon, and Kory is back, and he shares his top 5 food items and has some follow-up with the smoothie question from the previous episode. And then we bring up the conversation of how much has to be wrong before you complain and return and demand your money back and become a Kevin or a Karen at a fast food place. He also brings up some more speakeasy talk, which leads us into the break and then talking about midlife crises. It gets a little bit deeper in the second half than we normally get, but hey, you never know what to expect.
Oh, for the love. Sorry, just clearing my Mountain Dew hole.
I got my phone hole cleaned today.
That's where you keep it? You're so cerebral and you're so developed and evolved.
From the middle after dark over here.
305 was so fun. I loved listening to you guys talk. It's always like it's weird to say that it's a joy when I'm not there to record because you get this gift that is listening to what you guys talked about. It was so fun.
It was a very informative episode. Riveting, in fact. Basically me and Dillon drooling over what the other one is saying is pretty much what it was, and a whole bunch of regret as the other one spoke and thought, dang, that was so much better than mine. And that's how I felt coming from him. Like, my list sucks. Listening to Dillon talk about food. So
if you missed last week, these two guys talked about their favorite top 5 foods. Is that the top 5 foods of all time?
Yeah, but somehow we mentioned about 35.
Yeah,
so.
there was a lot of honorable mentions. So I feel like I'm going to miss out on a date with you guys if I don't mention mine.
Okay,
is how I'm left feeling. So if you'll allow,
yes,
I'd like to rattle off my top 5. Steak.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a New York strip medium rare guy, Kendall. So
okay,
big steak guy.
Wait, what sides? It's a whole meal. What sides?
Yeah, you can't just say steak and move on, buddy. That's not how this works. Did you listen?
I did listen. I prefer some potato of some kind, probably baked, and asparagus, or like steamed broccoli.
Mm-hmm.
I've even done a lobster mac as a side with a steak. So
okay.
Also on the list, nachos. As a meal.
Yes, absolutely. Also on my honorable mentions list. If it wasn't before, it is now.
I like the different textures. You can like play with the proteins and the toppings. I was just in Vegas and stopped at a place called Nacho Daddy.
Yeah.
Which I guess is famous. I don't know how many there are. I do know there's at least one in Vegas because I was there. And there's like 30 different nacho entrees. I opted for the surf and turf, which came with filet mignon and shrimp on it. So I like nachos as a meal. It doesn't have to be fancy, though. Nachos Bel Grande is one of my favorite items from Taco Bell. So nachos as a meal. I love it. Is number 3. I love it when somebody does a mashed potato bar. So
yes.
There's a gigantic crock pot of mashed potatoes, and then there's like brisket and bacon bits and broccoli, steamed broccoli and cheeses, and you just make mashed potatoes the whole meal.
Dude, did you see? Did you? I sent you guys a photo right last week. Yeah. There was my wife. Every once in a while, this was for a blood drive that I went to at my wife's work, and we always have lunch. And hospital food, especially there, I feel like just keeps getting better. Like hospital cafeteria food just keeps getting better. They had a mashed potato bar on the random day that I was there.
It's like a gift from heaven.
It was, there was no question about what I was doing. after that.
Yeah.
Like that was, it's a mashed potato bar. Forget. Like I put all the individual components of my salad back in their containers from the salad bar and shook off the dressing and put it all back. Yeah.
What do you think is the most pleasant surprise topping that you would find on a mashed potato bar for yourselves?
Well, is it
outside of the normal like bacon and cheese?
Is it Christmas, Dillon? Our mom the last couple of years has done for lunch on Christmas Day. I think Christmas Day. Yeah, Christmas Day.
That's about right.
Has done a mashed potato, and she has like melt in your mouth roast beef to just plop on top of the not sliced like Arby's, like more almost shredded chip beef, basically. Oh my gosh. I could sit and eat that until it was coming out of my ears.
Now do that on nachos.
Yes, sir. Do that on not Will It Nacho. Oh, there we go. I would tell you at the hospital they had carnitas. That was very much welcome. They also had like popcorn chicken as a topping option, which was yum. Which was fun to see. I did not get that, but it was fun to see that.
Didn't KFC do mashed potato bowls for a while with chicken chunks and corn and
yeah?
It's basically what kids do on their Thanksgiving plate. You just make a meal out of it.
That's what I do on my Thanksgiving plate. It's
okay, next one. Pretty much any pasta with a white sauce, and it really doesn't matter what the protein is. I'm not a red sauce guy on either pizza or pasta. I prefer a white Alfredo-y, or like even a vodka sauce is a little creamier than a pure tomato-based gravy, as the nonas would say. So I just love any pasta, like, or linguine and clams, like any pasta with like I know that's broad, but I'm adding that one.
You would have liked my pesto with Alfredo.
Yeah.
Like white sauce blend shrimp would have been right up your alley. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good with chicken. Good old chicken Alfredo is always good. Fettuccine, whatever. And then last, burgers, but I'm gonna vote for the smash burger here. You guys kind of like poo-pooed the smash burger. Unless it's a double, it's got to at least be a double,
right?
But I love a pub burger. I like the thick patties too, but something about the smash burger with that melty cheese in between the patties. You got the crisp on the outside, soft in the middle, the In-N-Outs of the world, the Five Guys, the Shake Shacks, like get out of here.
To be fair, the only time I poo-poo a burger is after I enjoy it. I'll eat anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't poo-poo is a little strong.
Cheesy, beefy burgers I'm going to enjoy anytime. But if we're talking about my preference, sure.
Yeah.
But I get it. I get why people like the crispy edges and especially when there's like extra cheese. I understand.
Have you guys ever had like the Oklahoma onion burger?
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
That
is spectacular.
Okay.
I get it.
Where is this?
I'm not an onion guy, but I get it.
It's so it's George Motz is the name of the guy. He's a First We Feast guy. That he did a whole big series of videos doing burger history and regional burgers. He calls himself a burger scholar, and the man has an impressive amount of knowledge about burgers.
Okay, and this is called what?
The guy's name is George Motz or George Motz.
Okay, but what's the burger?
The Oklahoma onion burger is the name of the burger that he was the first place that I had heard of. But since it's one of those things, like once you buy a car, you see it all over the road. Okay. I've been seeing and hearing about Oklahoma onion burgers ever since like he introduced it to me a few years ago. Right. And so I've been wanting one. And there's a pizza place in Gahanna called Sexton's who recently opened just down in the same parking lot, but a different storefront, a burger place. And they feature an Oklahoma onion burger. So, which was my first experience of someone else making one for me. And it's amazing. If you get different layers of onionness, right? So like you get onions that are crispy. So like you take really, really like aggressively thinly sliced onions, put them down on the griddle first, and then you smash the burger on top of the onions. So you're like smushing the onions both into the burger and down onto the griddle, so they crisp up also along with the beef on the outsides and stuff. And then so you get varying texture of onion in the same way that you do with the burger. And then it's just simple, like cheese on top. And then much like the Ron Swanson variety, put mustard on it if you want to. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is. And it's delicious.
It looks very adjacent to a smash burger. Dylan's cringing at the onions.
It is a smash burger. It's a variant.
Okay. What makes it Oklahoman?
Because it
Started there?
A regional burger from Oklahoma. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Second follow-up from last week's episode, 305. Dylan, the lady at the smoothie place, you said she had a $1 mix in.
Mm-hmm.
Something mixed into the smoothie, you mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then was complaining about that, whether she did or did not get it, and was trying to get $1 back. And this happens all the time.
That's how it was relayed to me by the drive-through worker.
Yeah.
That pre-order ahead of time. So theoretically, you know what the charge is going to be before you get there, and then get there and then complain about the $1 charge.
Like I shouldn't have been charged. I did not get that item mixed into the smoothie.
Maybe shouldn't have been charged or didn't know that I was going to be charged. But the way that it was expressed by the drive-thru worker, it was as if, though, this person was shocked that they were being charged an extra $1 for a thing that they placed the order for in an app before they got to the place.
So this is like our mom's issue with Taco Bell when she wants to substitute one cheese for another. She's like, you shouldn't charge me for the second cheese, no matter what it is, because I'm just subbing shredded for nacho or whatever she does.
Yeah, basically. Not saying that she yells at people for 30 minutes.
No.
Their window, but that she has a beef with it. No pun intended.
15 minutes you waited.
At least. Oh, at least. That was like the 5-minute build up minimum just to place the order for the one item, and then at least 15 minutes in the drive-thru. We sat there.
Which begs a follow-up question that I had based on an experience from this past week, and I need you guys' answers. And you will say it depends, but just what is the minimum amount of not even an error of your drive-thru order that you will turn around for or go back a different day with your receipt? I was in the Taco Bell line after a work trip. I was between meals when I was getting home. So I had skipped lunch, but it was too early for dinner. But I was like, I just need something. So I got a few items in a large Mountain Dew. I'm like driving home. I'm going through my neighborhood. Yes, if you know my town, it's right across the street. That doesn't matter. For the sake of the story, the Mountain Dew was not flat. It was just too much carbonated water to syrup ratio. And I was basically just drinking carbonated water. This happens often. How petty are you? Will you save that receipt and go back and say, I came in 2 days ago and got a heavily carbonated water version of Mountain Dew. I demand another. Will you go back right away? What needs to be the threshold for you to go back and be like, this is enough. This is an injustice has occurred?
I think you're, and obviously Dylan can speak for himself, but I'm guessing that you're speaking to two guys who have never gone back to any restaurant the next day to complain about the food and expect a refund. Or at least I have never done that. I have. This is why I always check my bags, like in the parking lot. Like if it's just for me, like I don't worry too much about it. Like I look at the bag really quick. Yeah, there's a fry, there's a sandwich. We're good. Let's go. If I'm picking up for my family or for really anyone else, I won't do it right there at the window. That's dumb. But I will pull into a parking spot and go through the bag. And then if there's something awry, I go in right away and tell them. And I've never had anybody ask for my receipt or anything. They just fix it then and there. I have never had a circumstance, although I have had circumstances where the wrong thing or something was missing or something like that. And after I got home or whatever, I have never like gotten back into the car and gone back to alleviate that at that point. And I've never asked for money back.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I am. It would have to be pretty egregious for me. Like, let's say, for example, somehow I ordered food for my whole family and 2 complete sandwiches were missing and I didn't check because I didn't have time or whatever. I would complain about that because now like people didn't get to eat.
What if you drove 25 minutes home? Are you going to call that night and say receipt number, blah, blah, blah? You going to go back the next day? Is it even worth it at that point?
I'm going to call like at that point, I totally would deal with it because I'm pissed off because it affected somebody else other than me.
Mm-hmm.
That is under my charge, so to speak.
Got it.
There's so many variables.
I know.
It depends.
I know. It's the most annoying answer, but it's the most true.
All I can do is try to give you some examples.
Okay. Fire away.
That have honestly, I have plenty from the last 6 months to 12 months. So like I could roll dice and come up with a story. So quick one. Ordered some Taco Bell, got home, missing 2 of my items. I had clearly ordered more than 2. So I still had food to eat, but I was missing 2 burritos. And sometimes I order extra burritos because I'm like, I'll throw them in the fridge and eat them later or tomorrow. So I often look forward to those. But to Kendall's point, if it affects somebody else, like especially Brie, like I feel like you get a salad and there's a special dressing or something, and then the dressing isn't included, that kind of makes the salad. Like a certain vinaigrette, champagne vinaigrette or something. It's like, that's the thing that probably makes it most enjoyable. So if it's somebody else's, I'm going to fix it. But like, so I missing 2 burritos. I'm like, I'll just go into the app, do like help with my order and say, hey, you missed my burritos. Can you just give me a refund? I paid in the app, whatever. So I do that thinking I'm not going to go back for that. Then it's like, do you want us to call you? There's no immediate resolution. I'm like, okay, whatever, sure. Thinking they'll never call. Next day, store manager person calls. They're like, because you did it in the app, I can't refund you. So next time you're up here, you're welcome to just mention that we forgot. Now it's like, it's a thing. So I had totally forgotten about it for like a month. And then I was sitting in the drive-thru and happened to remember as I was placing an order. I'm like, yep, Steven told me that I could come back and get my 2 burritos. What do you need to know? And they're like, that's it. We'll get you your So I mostly just kind of forget it. Sometimes I will go back. Also recently went to Texas Roadhouse. Have never had an issue with them. Had issues 2 times in the same day. So went through, they have a pickup window at ours. Went to the window, did a quick scan of the bag, see the bag with all the sauces and toppings and dressings, the little cups, right? And I just see that and go, cool, that kind of looks right. And pull away and realize, oh, none of the salad dressings are in there. Kind of a big deal because they have a certain kind of like dressing, whatever. Have to go back around and back through and wait, long line. Then we go through again. Shame on us. Actual salads missing. I was so hung up on the dressings missing.
Oh, wow.
The salads were missing. So now I've gone back. This is a 3rd time I've been in line. Original time, had to go back through again. So this time, the last time, they hand me a whole bag, a huge bag of rolls and a tub of the cinnamon butter. And I'm sure the person was terrified that I was coming back around. But I've definitely gone back to that Texas Roadhouse. Now, to be fair, they've gotten our order right 49 out of 50 times that we've gone there. But I had several issues in a row, and now I've had to start checking the bag every time. So to your point, Kendall, way smarter just pull away right there, check the bag. I should have learned my lesson many times. I haven't. If it's for me, I'm probably not going back. If it's for a soda, I'm definitely not going back. If it's for somebody else and it's kind of the key item, I'm probably going back. So
Yeah.
we're all kind of going through some cost benefit analysis. Like
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
pop is the cheapest thing in the order. I can grab a Mountain Dew at the convenience store on the way home. The one for me was because my bride loves her barbecue sauce and she wants extra barbecue sauce. What restaurant doesn't matter. Do they have barbecue sauce? She wants five. So I would forget the barbecue sauce. And then you know how many times I would feel bad because it changes her ability to enjoy that chicken sandwich or whatever
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
she's counting on the barbecue sauce. And even though we have Sweet Baby Ray's in the fridge, it's not the barbecue
I was just
sauce.
gonna say you can splurge and just go to Kroger and get your own barbecue.
It's not
sauce.
the sauce from the place.
I understand. Yeah.
So I like Dylan that in one of your examples, you talked about the simple fact that there were sauces in the bag on that transaction was a signal to you that they had paid attention,
Yeah.
which reminds me of that classic Van Halen writer story about no brown M&Ms in their green room.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys heard this story? So Van Halen in the 80s had such elaborate stage requirements and pyrotechnics and stuff that they put this thing in their writer that in the bowl of M&Ms in their green room, the brown ones had to be removed. They didn't really care. It was just a test to see if the people that were hosting the concert had done their due diligence and read through the rest of the complex writer. So it was like an immediate way for them to recognize whether or not. So we've got to figure out a way to do this with our takeout orders.
Yeah, and I have a follow-up question on the soda. This is a good example because you mentioned Taco Bell, and this is a problem of mine. Normally they do great, bad with sodas. I would do one of the cheap combos because it was cheap. I don't care about the drink at Taco Bell. I'm only doing the combo because it was a good deal on the items. So the drink is sort of throwaway in my mind. I get it. If I drink some, fine. But the question is, how many bad drinks in a row do you get before you actually call and be like, guys, what's up with your soda process? It's broken. I've gotten the food is always great. I've gotten dozens of sodas and they're all bad. Something is wrong with your machine. Please fix it. At what point do you do that? Because I still haven't. And I'm like, they can't fix it if they don't know it's broken. But I don't want to be the one that has to call and complain about a soda machine.
And I also think you have to be a certain type of person to be the one to be willing and excited to make that call.
Well, willing and excited are different emotions.
Yes. Yeah. That's
I could find myself to be willing to do certain things, but not excited to do certain things.
Maybe this is one of those things that comes later in life.
maybe.
As
Maybe.
we age in our 20s, we're like, who cares, man? I got my double decker.
Yeah. Maybe you get bored at some point and just need something to do that day.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that there are people like that. Like they're just looking for something to do. And so they're going to complain about $1 upcharge until like.
And that's the thing.
But-
I could totally find myself. I'm sure I could do it in a way that's like, hey, I want you to listen to me, guy or girl. This isn't about you, and the food's normally great, but your soda process sucks, and you need to get it together. And I don't really care because I'm only in it for the $6 combo. I don't care about the drink. I want the items. But other people care and are spending money, and those drinks are like $3. So fix it.
Yeah.
Whatever you got to do, please fix it.
When I was a kid, the soda machines were all working.
Yeah.
And they were well prepped. It's disrespectful is what it is.
Yeah.
But every older person complaining about kids traipsing on their lawn on their way home from school was also a teenage kid who didn't care and thought it was fun that a bunch of people were on their lawn at one point in life because it meant you were having a good time and the neighbors were over. And now you're like, I've been working on that grass for 3 months.
Yeah. Don't trample the posies, you know? I went to a movie not long ago and I used my AMC Stubs rewards. And so they sent an email, tell us about your experience. I appreciate that I have a local theater. I don't want to rag on the people who work at the local theater. Not everyone has a local theater. But it's so gross every time I go in. It's just dirty and they haven't cleaned since COVID and it doesn't feel good inside. Like literally in the building, it doesn't feel good. So
Or emotionally in my soul.
emotionally also inside. And so I'm like, it's best if I don't think about the chairs that I'm sitting in.
Is this the one? Is it in like a rundown mall?
Yeah.
And there's like an arcade across from the theater.
Yeah.
I've been there during like rainy camping days.
Yeah.
And I went there. I know the theater you're talking about.
Yeah. And the thing is, it was remodeled from another brand to an AMC like not that long ago, like not 30 years ago. It's been an AMC much more recently. And so I just put in the thing, hey, I actually filled out the survey. It was like, hey, the number of people in there working doesn't seem like enough to be able to stay on top of the maintenance required for such a large building. I think you need more people because when I'm in there, they're usually busy. So please hire cleaning crews to come in and deep clean the theater, please. It's not the employee's fault. I don't blame them. But like every 6 months or 3 months, you might need to pay for some deep cleaners.
Let's hit a reset button on. Yeah.
Just FYI, replace some carpet and hire some cleaners. Like it'll go a really long way. Because it's gross. And at some point I felt willing but not excited to say something, and I did. It's gross.
That's fun. I think once I like wrote into corporate. Oh, it was an IHOP. And I went to this specific IHOP on like a Saturday at lunch at a busy intersection. And it was like nobody in there cared. It was like they had all decided we're all quitting at the end of today, right? Right.
Mhm.
And so their attitude, there was no sense of urgency. People were laissez-faire at best, all almost dismissive. Like whatever, who's next? Yeah, like everybody was a problem. And I was like, this is more than just one person having a bad day. This whole store. I was like, corporate needs to know about that place and about the freaking Outback Steakhouse in Independence, Ohio. Those two places
Yeah.
need a serious talking to.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know how polite I can be, but they really need to know. But I know that stuff. I know what probably happens is like corporate unleashes on some poor store manager who's just trying to like run the McDonald's by themselves because everyone else called off, and like fire and brimstone will come down. And it's like, I'm just please mop. I'm just asking you to mop the floors. I don't feel like
the restaurant inside of the Great Wolf Lodge. Take your pick.
Yeah. Oh.
But somebody's got to fix it. And I feel like what you said, Dillon, they can't fix it if they don't know it's broken. I don't want to be the guy to make the call or write the email, but like, doggone it, I'm 40 now.
Someone's got to step up,
I imagine a better future for my children and grandchildren.
I imagine a world where like ChatGPT is writing my angry emails to these companies. I will tell you one company I am happy and willing, both of those words, to reach out to when I have a problem, and it's Lego, because they're highly empathetic and they're quick to fix things and they're very polite and sweet.
And flush with cash so they can fix stuff.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. They make a killing on plastic.
Yeah. So I will give them that. Their people are whipped into shape or compensated well or both. And they handle things quickly, efficiently, and with a good attitude. Yeah. So take it from Lego if you're trying to figure out how to give better service.
There you go. Anything else from last week, Kory?
Well, I did stumble upon a new speakeasy.
Ooh.
So we talked about in a couple of episodes back that like speakeasies are fun, even though they're unnecessary. Mm-hmm. It's just really having a place that's the if you know type place, right? So I had a work assignment in Las Vegas. I was there for almost a full week. I tried to schedule a beard trim before leaving because it was getting a little unruly. But hammer and nails at all 3 locations around my house were booked up on the like day before leaving. So I couldn't get in. So I was like, no problem. I'll do the couple days of prep in Vegas. And then the day before my actual customers in the room meeting, I'll go find a barbershop. So I'm staying at the MGM Grand, and I just do like a quick Google search for like barbershops near me. And the one that just happened to be the closest, a half-mile walk down the Las Vegas Strip, was called The Barbershop. And then in the description, it said, speakeasy and live music. And I was like, is it just called, do they actually still do haircuts and beard trims? Or is it just called the barbershop? But I'm like an adventurous guy. I'm like, it'll be fun to go figure it out. And it's only a half mile, so whatever. And if I walk all that way and it's a problem, I'll just catch an Uber and go to the next spot. So I'm perusing their website and I figure out, oh, I actually can select, a person to cut my hair, a barber. So, okay, Anthony's going to cut my hair 9 p.m. on a Sunday. I'm like, okay. And it's in the Cosmopolitan Hotel and Casino, which is one of the nicer casinos. Dillon, you should look this up while I'm talking. The barbershop at the Cosmopolitan. So I walk to the Cosmopolitan. I deduce that it's on the first floor. Gigantic lobby. Like the first floor is massive. It takes up like a half of a block. So I have to ask somebody at a gift shop. I'm like, hey, where's the barber shop? He's like, right this way. So I go in, and Dylan, there should be a shot that's like 4 chairs. Like, so I say, hey, I'm here to get my beard trimmed. And she's like, yeah, with Anthony? I go, yeah. So I sit down in one of the 4 chairs. He's the last barber there. So he's like clearly waiting on me so he can go home. This whole time I know there's a speakeasy somewhere attached, but I'm not focused on that right now. I just want to get my beard trimmed. So I sit down in one of the chairs. If you do Google images, it'll Anthony, by the way, Anthony right there, Anthony N. He's from Youngstown, Ohio. So anyway, sit down in the chair. He does the beard trim. As I've got hot towels and lather on my face, I hear large groups of people walking within 18 inches of my head going, yeah, party of 5, right there. Right there, that second image. So I'm in that far chair right by the door. So as I'm getting my beard trimmed, I'm hearing people go like, party of 5. Yeah, there's 6 of us. Yeah, right through here, right through here, right through here. They keep going through this door marked janitor. And then they shut that door, and then I hear like a big metal chukung, like they got the sliding, just the person's eyes. And then it opens up to this really cool music venue where there's a whole bar on one long side and a stage, a really well lit, really good sounding stage, leather chairs, chandeliers, and this guy that was playing, Ziggy Zeno is his name. Shout out to Ziggy Zeno. This dude was doing like late 90s, early 2000s rock and alternative covers. So like the first one he sang was like Hobostank, The Reason. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I used to sing that song. And his voice was really gravelly and good. So it really suited that genre really well. Place was packed elbow to elbow. So I stayed in there for one round and just had a great time at this speakeasy while I just happened to also be getting my haircut. So whether or not you need a haircut, go find the barbershop at the Cosmopolitan the next time you're in Vegas. Even better if it's on a weekend. Live music, really cool, fun time. Thought it was worth sharing.
Glorious.
That's what, like 2 in like a month that you've been to?
Yeah, I want to go find this ice cream one. If you guys are down, we'll go together.
Ice cream?
Do they have ice cream?
It's at that new neighborhood that I was saying between us and like Lewis Center. That's popped up. It's called something Farms. There's one that's in like a creamery. And I joked with you guys that I think you have to order like a special ice cream that doesn't exist. And then they open a door somewhere. So we should go explore and find that together. But anyway, yeah, it's becoming a thing with me. I just like the speakeasy vibe.
There you go.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, this feels like a good time to take a quick break and hear some words from some of our dear friends in Odd Pods Media.
Hey, Jeff, what are we doing?
Why are you whispering?
Because all of our devices are constantly listening to us. Unless we take massive efforts to protect our online privacy, all the details of our lives will be in the hands of mega corporations.
Okay, sure, but this is the promo for our podcast. We need people to be able to hear us this time.
Why do we need a promo?
Oh, funny you should ask. We're now members of the Odd Pods Media Network.
Are they one of those global conglomerates?
No, they're just a really awesome podcast network full of great shows like ours.
Well, is there anything specific we need to say?
We should probably tell them what our podcast is about.
Oh, it's about how the algorithm shapes our lives and how tech companies profit off our personal information. We dabble in tech conspiracy theories and talk about how billionaires are all buttholes.
I don't think we should say buttholes in the promo.
But we already did twice.
Join us every other Monday for new episodes of Suggested Articles,
A podcast.
Each of us identify with one of the Golden Girls. I'm Sophia, Aaron is Dorothy, Kristen is Sweet Rose, and each week we'll have a guest sit in the Blanche spot, the naughty seat. Come join us on the lanai for some cheesecake.
Part of the Odd Pods Media Network.
So I was talking to my wife today, and I told her, I think I want to talk to the guys about midlife crises. And you know what she told me?
They'll be down.
She told me that your podcast is basically just Kory sharing midlife crisis stories.
Just Kory sharing?
Yeah, Kory sharing midlife crisis stories.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the struggle is real.
And I couldn't get that out of my head while you were talking about like speakeasies and being your new thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Dylan.
I was just going to say, I was listening to that first part, but I was using ChatGPT to give me fake ice cream orders that you could place at a speakeasy to try to get in. But then, yes, we already know what my version of the podcast is. Speaking of AI, we talked about that. The quote was, "Imagine you're poor and don't have good stories." So Kory's is midlife crisis themed. That's mine. We just need to define Kendall's.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What are you here for?
What am I here for? Well, maybe this is, if we have a midlife crisis, there's this one time in the middle chapter of my life that started a podcast with a couple guys.
Yeah. Mashed potatoes and manhood. Got it.
Mashed potatoes and manhood. That's what this podcast is to me. Mashed potatoes and manhood. So a midlife crisis. And the way I think of a midlife crisis is a little bit, it's very similar to a bucket list, something I want to do before I die. But a little bit more specifically, I think about something I've always wanted to do. And now I realize I'm like halfway-ish through my life and I haven't done that or become that yet, or whatever the thing is. And like, I've got some catching up to do. Is kind of how I'm thinking about midlife crisis. What are your guys' thoughts? And have you had thoughts about midlife crises? Have you thought like, am I having a midlife crisis? Do you know that you've had midlife crisis moments? And if so, or if not, what are some of those kind of yearnings that you have had, whether or not you've dove into them yet?
I have so many thoughts.
I'm sure you do.
I'm not in complete denial, Amy. And some of it is relative, right? You're like, well, I didn't buy a Corvette. And then you're like, but if I had the money, I would have.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, because I even did like a quick Google search, and some of the definitions that people give, I don't know that I agree with.
Mm.
It's not necessarily dissatisfaction or thinking that you made the wrong choices. It's the simple act of assessing where you are at all, in my opinion, and going like, am I kind of like where I want to be career-wise, family-wise, health-wise? You start seeing things that other people are doing, and not necessarily direct comparison, but you see them living in a certain type of way. I just discovered this YouTuber. His name is Xander Budnick. And I just watched a 1 hour and 40-minute video of him taking 17 days with his brother in like the subarctic in the Northern Territory in Canada. And he does a canoe trip. I forget how many kilometers. It took 14 days. And they caught fish and cooked the fish and camped and hiked the whole way down. And he just filmed it. And that's what the guy does. And he does deserted island survival things. Sometimes he brings food. Sometimes he doesn't. And he just shared in this video that because of what he's done, he's been able to buy his first house. He's Canadian. He lives in Toronto, I believe. And you see stories like that, and you see guys living a life like that. And I'm not called to be a YouTuber, I don't believe, but you just go like, oh, maybe I should start like a wood shop in the garage and like start making furniture. Like you're just starting to assess and think about. But then where I always go is like, we've got young kids still. Now's not the time to do things like that. That feels like a selfish endeavor. You can still take week-long trips to Colorado. You don't have to make a YouTube channel about it. There are much more important things. Like my family and I tonight sat around the table and they tried for the third time to teach me euchre, and we had a really good time. And that was really fun. And it's not something you'd ever make a YouTube video or channel about. But anyway, I've said too much. You guys share now.
What about you, Dillon? I feel like mine is the way I think about midlife crisis is a little simpler than that.
Why don't
much
you
less thoughtful than Kory
Why don't you
shared.
give your definition, Kendall? I want to hear yours.
Overthinking is not thoughtful necessarily.
That's so just like what I said, like something that you've always envisioned yourself as, or something that you've always wanted to do, make it a hobby. I'll give you an example for me. And one that has not come to fruition is hunting. I've never been hunting, not really. Been hunting. I've never been deer hunting for sure. And but I've always fancied myself. I grew up around guys deer hunting. I grew up in a rural environment and friends who hunted, and I have friends who hunt. And it's just I've always liked outdoorsy things, especially stuff like fishing. And my favorite part about fishing isn't the catching of the fish, it's the being there, like really early in the morning or really late in the evening, and being in the middle, like toes to the water, and you get the mist coming up off the pond or the lake or whatever it is, and or wading through a river like that. Those are the moments I'm looking for, that I love. Hunting just seems like a lot more of that, but in a slightly different setting. And and harvesting a deer to feed my family does also appeals to me. Not something that I've ever done. And recently, one of my boys had said that, had told me that he'd be interested in trying deer hunting sometime. And I'm like, oh, and that got me thinking, like, oh man, I want to do this. I've always fancied myself as that. And so I have this urge, this yearning to do deer hunting. And along with that is like guns and shooting, which again, for various reasons, I had never been big into shooting. I've gone to shooting ranges sort of here and there, but then recently it just all started to kind of pick up really quickly, to where I've been shooting once or twice a week for the past months now. And it's a sport that I really enjoy and really like. But I remember when I'm in my 20s thinking to myself, at the early 20s, and thinking I can't afford any kind of gun that I would want. So, but I was into it. I had the magazines and read about them, and I knew what I really want. I remember at the time, the last gun magazine that I had was all about the Colt 1911. And I remember telling me that's going to be my first gun. I'm good. Not necessarily a Colt, but a 1911 is going to be my first gun. I dig 1911s. Never ended up getting one. Still don't have one, but man, I'm into shooting, and it's one of those things I would like to try hunting and then maybe get into it. And now I have the excuse of I can do it for my boy. Right.
Yeah.
So
see,
that's an example for me.
I don't hear anything in there, but I'm biased. I don't hear anything in there that sounds like, oh, this guy's like questioning his life choices and he's in a mental state that is not healthy, which is making him think he needs to go try and do these things or else his some life has somehow not is less than in some way. I
Right.
hear I'm still interested in picking up new hobbies, buying a motorcycle, you might say. Or like there's still things I want to do. You're just assessing.
Mhm.
I don't nothing in there sounds out of the ordinary to me.
Right,
Dylan,
right.
you gotta
So
you
I
gotta
guess for
level.
me, like when I think of midlife crisis, I've never thought about the word crisis being in there. To me, it's just words. And for me, like that qualifies as like midlife crisis, like something that I want to do. And I kind of feel like I've got a little bit of catching up to do. I want to get in on it.
Yeah.
Kinda-
Dylan, your thoughts?
I'm going to start by saying I don't have any strong feelings on the phrase or how to answer the question. And I was like Googling, I was like looking up definition to try to figure out and like think about how you guys were talking about it. So what I'm going to say is should sound kind of like a joke, but should not sound like I'm taking a jab at anybody. I think of midlife crisis as sort of like it's a position of privilege to even be in that state. Like the fact that your head is enough above water
That's a great point.
that you can like stop to look around and say, I have options. Do I even want to do this? Do I want to do something else? Are there hobbies and things I could be doing? Like, I don't even, that kind of alludes to what you were saying, Kendall. Like in your 20s, you don't even have that level of perspective. You don't have time. Your head is down. You're like, I got to get to I need a home and I need food and my pantry is empty and I have bills to pay and I'm trying to figure out the whole thing. And so like the ability to even like stick your head up for a second out of the grass and like survey a little bit and go, I could leave this job that I don't have to have and could find something else. And it's not urgent that money's not an urgent thing. And maybe some people do, maybe there is some form of legitimate crisis for some people in it. I don't want to minimize what other people are going through. But I mean, in how I think about it, my probably incorrect definition, it's sort of like people who have the means to actually stop and think about what they might want to do with what's left of what's in front of them. And in some ways, it feels like that's really nice to have that privilege to be able to stop and actually do that. Whether you do anything with it or not, and if there's sad or crisis elements to it, then it's not a position of privilege. It wouldn't feel that way. But in my head, the kind of stereotype I'm thinking of, it's like that. Like, oh yeah, my job's fine. My family's good. They're doing their thing. We've got a good rhythm. We've got a thing. Money's okay. Maybe I want to do this thing or buy that thing or change up what I'm doing or whatever. So maybe for some people, it does feel like an opportunity driven kind of thing. I hope for most people it does. Maybe for some people it does feel more like a crisis, but I don't have strong feelings either way. That's just sort of like I'm reacting to the question and what I think the definition feels like it is. But getting new hobbies feels like a great way to think about it.
Okay, so I have a friend with strong feelings on the matter. I'm gonna call him and see what he has. This is Tim. You guys know Tim. Can you hear it okay?
Not at all.
I don't hear anything yet.
Hello?
Tim,
I hear
Yeah.
Tim.
it's Kory.
Howdy, sir.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, you're on the podcast live.
Oh, no. I'm so scared.
Welcome to From the Middle, by the way. I know you don't listen. It's fine. So here's the premise. Kendall was talking to Amy about the concept of like midlife crisis and like bringing it up on the show maybe. And she laughed and said, your whole podcast is basically Kory just describing elements of having a midlife crisis. First of all, do you agree with her assessment?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Right?
you're off the show. So then I shared my thoughts on it. Like you see these YouTubers that like go on these amazing adventures and Kendall's definition for him was much more simpler. It's like he's never deer hunted. And now his son is showing interest in deer hunting. And he's like, maybe that's something I can do. And I never got myself a Colt 1911 like I always wanted. So he's been shooting more. And then we asked Dillon his thoughts. And true to form, he took a centrist point of view and said the word crisis doesn't really stick out to him. It's just anybody that maybe wants to learn a new hobby. That doesn't seem so bad. But regardless, it might be a position of privilege to even pull your head out of the water long enough to assess where you are. Most people don't even have that luxury. I know you have a lot of thoughts on this. We've been
Well, you guys all seem to have really healthy balance views.
well, that's why I'm calling you. So you said, so Tim, you said that you like have this desire to seriously, and this is, I know we're being like lighthearted, but like you have a serious desire to either write a book or like have a discussion with other guys in their 40s who maybe you've got good jobs that for all intents and purposes, anybody else would look at and say, you got a good thing going, but we're like quietly miserable. They feel like a golden leash, you might say sometimes. We won't say your last name so nobody knows where you work. But like, just talk to me about your thoughts. Like, you're very passionate about this. I would love to hear your thoughts, and maybe you can sort of balance us out over here.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you guys sound very, very healthy, right? And I do think there was a period where maybe I was like that too, that I'm like, hey, I'm going to get really into mountain biking, or I'm going to get really into, whatever. You need the hobby, spend a lot of money on it, do it, get really good at it, and then move on. But I think I progressed past that. I don't know. Kory and I's conversations over the past 3 years, I've just been obsessed with it. But what's funny is I feel like I talk so much about it, but I'm absolutely no closer to figuring out what it is I'm even talking about. I just keep kind of spiraling. So I don't know. One thing that I think, it is very obvious and apparent, and I think anybody would probably agree to, is like your body just starts failing you in ways that you didn't think it could possibly fail you. I mean, I like to think I eat relatively healthy and I try to exercise regularly, but we've gotten to a point, my prostate just hates me, and I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. And like I found out last week, I can't jump anymore. I went to jump.
Dude, I didn't know this. I'm so sorry.
No, I just felt like my knees disintegrated when I landed. I'm like, okay, I guess we don't need that anymore. I mean, that's like the obvious thing. It just feels like on a very real physical level, like, oh my gosh, I'm going, in the wrong direction here. So, I mean, that's like on the surface, on the outside, that's kind of, I think, always present in my mind, is I'm certainly not getting any younger. And day by day, it feels like I'm falling apart. But you mentioned work. Yes, I think work is a very strange thing, like 20s and 30s felt like just building, trying to piece it together and figure it out and be an all-star and climb the ladder. And I was excited, I'd wake up early in the morning and pop out of bed, and I was ready to go and had a lot of energy for it. And I don't know, at this point, I kind of look around. I realize if I climb any higher on the ladder, I'm going to lose my soul to the corporation or get my head chopped off. But there's no way down either. You make enough money, you're kind of locked into where you're at. You feel kind of trapped in or boxed in. I don't know. I'm in that spot where I feel like I would love to do something that I'm passionate about. I would love to do something where I'm working with people that I really care about and feel like you're bonded in something, but also so far into the corporate world that it's like, how can you find that financial security and also lock it up with your passions and with the people? So
you've also expressed too, and appreciate you sharing, that like there seems to be something innate about this age, hence the term midlife, where you're just like, I've invested, and if I'm recapping what you've just said, I've invested this much. But you've also expressed, and you don't have to go into the details, but like these long held dreams and like what others might call silly dreams or passions or pet projects or hobbies that you've always longed to do. So I think what I feel in a similar situation is like, oh, I'm running out of time to like cut bait from this thing over here. And like, is my window to do that thing getting smaller and smaller and smaller? And the quote that I always hear is like, you often regret most the things that you never try more than the things that you try and fail at. So it's like the whole, am I running out of time to go start that bait shop on Hoover Dam, you know?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, I don't know, you do get stuck, right? If you got a family you're supporting, a household you're supporting, now you need that financial stability. So it's a lot harder. I mean, it takes a lot of courage, I think, to step away from what's known and stepping into something that will make you feel alive again and make you feel that excitement that you once had. Because unfortunately, I think a lot of people fall into it. Like you think you're on the right path, right? You got the right degree, you got the right.
I did all the right things.
Stuff. I did everything, and it did. I'm not saying it didn't work out financially. It did, but at the same time, you find yourself stuck in a position where now you feel like it's your only option. Like you don't have another option. To where, yes, I would love to do something where I was more outdoors or working with my hands. But yeah, it feels like a big swing when you're in your 20s. Like, well, I can't take a risk and do that. But it feels like just an even bigger swing in your 40s of like, no, I really can't do that.
Which is why I think, and you and I have talked about this, why we're drawn to those YouTubers who are like, I quit my corporate job and now I hike mountains and look at what it's like. We hear those stories as like the probably really small and few and far between examples of people who have cashed it all in.
Right.
And went and pursued that. And we like love those stories, right?
Right. I mean, it's that adventure, you want to get out there and explore the great unknown. But the reality of, do you have your wife and kids in tow? Do you, how's that going to work logistically or realistically? Is I think one of the things that makes it really difficult.
All right. Well, when you start the retreat or write the book, please let us know. We'll bring you on the podcast to talk about it. Dillon, Kendall, any questions for Tim?
I think we probably need to have Tim on to talk about this. We need to take a deep dive.
Hey, I mean, I do love the long form. I love that you can just talk for hours. And again,
yeah.
I don't know if we get anywhere. I might just go in circles, but
that's not the point, bud.
Answers and solutions have never been the point of this podcast.
The art of the conversation, my friend.
That's right. That's right.
Well, we appreciate you hopping on for a bit. I know you're really passionate about it. We've had some really funny and serious conversations about it, but you're definitely not alone, and we'll let you know if we get any answers. All right.
And I'll tune in and I'll listen for the
first time ever. All right. We got one. We got one. Subscribe, hit the dingy bell. All right. Smash that like button.
All right. You guys have a good one.
Love you, buddy.
See you, man.
Okay, I love you too.
That's Tim's good people.
He is.
But some good points, right? I mean, like I'm 41. I'm hearing so much of this across my friend group. I think the crisis enters if you're like, I'm starting a new family with a 22-year-old in Boise. And
yeah.
I think that is certainly the extreme example, Amy, of what that looks like. So there are guys who have it worse than just buying Jordans in every color. But anyway, I think it's important conversation that a lot of guys, they're living through the questions and the difficulty of it, but they think they're alone in some of these questions. And then, Kendall, to your point, what is the line? When does it become unhealthy? I don't hear anything unhealthy in your example. Yeah, it's good conversation.
You know what? I think what is super helpful, and maybe this takes it to a more serious tone. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but with the shooting thing in particular, like that's something that like I've talked about before. Like Amy has heard me talk about it before. She's always been kind of anxious around the idea of shooting. But it was on my birthday where it was just me and her driving back from Chicago, and like she looked up when the shooting range near us was going to be closing that day, and it was her idea to take me on my birthday, her first time ever going into a shooting range, my first time in years. And so we went, and that kind of opened up a door a little bit to me back into that world. And we've been on Sunday afternoons, the two of us have been taking advantage of the fact that our kids are finally of an age that we're willing to leave them at home for a couple of hours. And she and I, like, she'll go with me. And I mean, I wouldn't say that she's getting into it as much as she's being supportive and making it not feel like this is me leaving my family kind of thing. Instead, she's been coming with me. And so having that kind of support has been really special about it too.
Yeah. I mean, Sherry even buying me the motorcycle was not because I whined and complained and said I always wanted one. She's like, this is something that in small doses will get you outside, will give you some adventure. I don't love the risk of it, but I'm willing to support you in this by okaying and making the purchase so that you can have these little bursts of that, something that you've wanted now at the time for a handful of years, because Greg got me into it. You've heard the story episode, whatever. Like she didn't have to do that, but I mean, even video games is a smaller example. Like I don't play video games if my family's awake. Like that was a choice I made for the most part. There are exceptions, of course, over Christmas breaks and things like that. But like, I think if you're finding a way to balance these desires or hobbies or interests or whatever, as long as they're healthy and that you're not coping or escaping something else by doing them, and you're balancing that with your other life goals, that feels less crisis-y to me. And maybe I'm just really good at justifying.
Yeah, I was looking for a hobby conversation.
I just wanted you to guys to say one new thing you felt like doing for the last 20 minutes.
And I'm the enabler over here pulling up Springfield Armory's website so Kendall can get his 1911.
Springfield Armory Fully Loaded 1911 is specifically the one that because I'm left-handed and it has a thumb safety on the on both. It's an ambidextrous thumb safety.
Yeah. I know you've done your research.
Oh, for sure.
If I know one thing about Kendall, Dillon, have you ever, I mean, I know you're saying you can't really relate, or it doesn't seem like a big scary word. Has there been anything where you've started to feel like, oh, maybe that's like a little inkling of like I mean, you have a Lego office. That is your life's collection that brings you joy. I don't consider that an unhealthy practice. But yeah, has there been anything where you're like, ooh, the balance of this might be tipping a little bit into the like whatever category?
I don't know if I have a direct answer to that question, but in the vein of what you're asking, like there are times where I wonder, like if somebody had talked to me differently at an age where it would have been easier to pivot, would I have done I wouldn't have done what I'm doing now. And so a way that I try to explain that to my daughter, who's 7, is everything you see in the world is something somebody does as a job. Everything that exists that's not just purely nature, everything that gets made, every person you see, everything is open and is available.
That's beautiful.
And there are things that you can do for fun, and there are things that you can do for money. And those can be different. And you don't have to take something that's fun and make it something you do for money. And you can. That's also an option. And so it's even as I try to figure out some of those things, because there's a part of that is me pushing back against monetize, side gig. You know, you got the second, third gigs, moonlight, do this, do that. And it's like, people should just be able to do things that are just fun. And it's okay. I think it can still be healthy to compartmentalize the thing I do for the check and the thing that I do for fun. I think when people find a way to blend them because they want to do that, I think that's great. And people who don't, and just like, let me go do this thing, and then I'll come home and do the thing that I like. Because as soon as you monetize it, that does create new challenges and stresses and things like that. And so I think if somebody had said, and I don't blame anybody growing up, because it's just not where we grew up and it's not how people talked. But I think if somebody had said, everything that you see in the world and that you enjoy doing, somebody somewhere is doing that thing. And if you want to pursue doing that, if you love making video games, or if you love playing video games, or if you love watching movies, or you think the idea of being a pilot or a doctor, or there are people who are translators for their job, like literally everything imaginable is a thing somebody somewhere is doing. So I think if somebody had said that, it maybe my path would have been different. I'm sure. I don't begrudge that. I'm not upset about it. But it would be a lie to say I haven't thought about that from time to time. Thought like, if somebody had told me that at the age of 14, 15, 16, what do I think I would have wanted to go do? But you don't think in those terms. People think in terms of what's available, what's near me, what's practical, what makes money. That's just how people talk about things that you're going to do. So, so that's, I think, a little bit of where I come from with the position of privilege. Like, you know, I'm not struggling to put food in the cabinets like I was at, 19 years old. And so sometimes I can sit and think about, like, if I was going to do something else, what would that look like? Doesn't answer the question, but it
does. That's good.
It circles the conversation.
I think maybe one encouragement for those listening, and for myself, is we've had some jokes at what the extreme versions of these things look like, right? I'm not going to start a YouTube channel where I go 300 kilometers down a river in a canoe with my brother, because he won't do it. But like, it's like when I went and met Nate Weber from Alone. Go back and listen to episode blah, blah, blah with Nate Weber. I walked away from my conversation with him going, okay, I'm not going to leave corporate America and go live off the land in Michigan. But what does a healthy dose of that look like in my life, and how can I include my family in it?
Mm-hmm.
So like, up until this point, Sherry has not been super excited about primitive camping in any way. But as I'm researching different hammocks, because she's got to be comfortable. So as I've like researched different hammocks, we found one that I think that she would really enjoy. You lay flat. It's called a Haven. My buddy Matt has one. I've tried them out. You can put light ropes in there and make it really enjoyable. And you're laying flat. You're not at all like, your back's not, are like, okay, could I bring Sherry into the primitive camping thing? And could we have more fun with that? Could I teach my kids how to ride their bikes? They don't know yet. And they're 18, 15, and 10. I'm just kidding. Like Case always wants to go fishing. Shame on me for not taking him more often, right? Like, he's always down to go fishing, and we've got 2 ponds in our neighborhood. That's an easy thing that I can do. So the encouragement is asking yourself the question, how can I bake in some of these healthy habits, endeavors, pursuits, whatever? You want to have a wood shop? You don't need Adam Savage's wood shop. Start with a table saw. Start with a jigsaw. And take a couple hours a week and make some stuff. You know what I mean?
Indeed. I do think that we need to revisit this. This
is a good one.
This is turning into a good conversation.
It feels like a roundtable conversation with like a couple guests. Maybe next time we're in studio or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like it.
Before we go, if there's parting thoughts, say it. But before we go, do you want to hear the fake ice cream flavors at the speakeasy?
Yes.
Do you want to hear what ChatGPT came back with?
Yes, please.
Are there any parting thoughts, or was that pretty?
These are the parting thoughts. Thank you to Samson For our intro music, we don't thank him enough. Shout out Samson. We'll tag him in the socials. Thank you, Artius Man, for your sponsorship. Go to artiusman.com, fill your cart with men's grooming products. Use promo code The Middle at checkout to get 25% off your order. Tell us those ice creams, baby.
All right. Giggle Water Gelato. Bathtub Blackberry Brandy Swirl. Moonshine Mint Chip. Velvet Prohibition Vanilla. Smoke and Mirrors Marshmallow. Hush Hush Honeycomb. Cloak and Cocoa. Forbidden Fig Fudge. Password Pistachio. Contraband Cotton Candy Caviar. Jazz Age Jalapeno Jam Ripple. Phantom Pineapple Upside Down Sorbet. Flappers Flamingo Fudge. And finally, Bootleggers Bubblegum Bourbon.
Like half of those sound really good.
I know. And I could totally see some like bougie, like trying to be high-end ice cream shop actually having stuff like that on the menu.
Oh, that's
Hush Hush Honeycombs kind of sounds good. I was just imagining like the honeycomb cereal from whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Like kind of a golden graham type something golden. It's like crunchy, soft. That sounds really good. I'd buy it.
Also very much sounds like something that Will and Lydia, owners of Little Ladies, would come up with, because they mix the toppings of like obscure things that don't normally seem like they would go together in their soft serve. So we'll tag them as well.
All right,
this
fellas.
was a fun one. Thanks for tuning in. And we got a little serious there, but hey, it happens sometimes, especially when you're in the middle of life, having midlife crises. Maybe that should be the new tagline.
Yeah, it should be.
Thanks for joining. It's been fun hanging out. We'll catch you next Wednesday on From the Middle.
Bye.